Alright, so we're going to show you how to make a world for VRChat. First things first, you're going to want to get your VRC SDK world package from vrchat.com. And you're going to make a new project in Unity Hub, which I just named My World. Then I imported this, and I skipped past that because it takes fucking forever. We're going to make a cube, and it's not going to be just any cube. We are going to make a floor. Whoops. Shift tab. Let's go to one. Let's go with 0.01, and then 10, and we'll have it 0 out at the spawn, which is we haven't made yet. But anyway, so we're going to rename this as floor, which I guess you're calling it floor. Go ahead and make a thing. Actually, no, we don't need that yet. Let's go ahead and delete that. So we're going into the VRC SDK sample assets. Wait, whoops, hang on. SDK 3. No, that's wrong. Also, VRChat examples, that's where it was. Okay, so prefabs. You're going to go over to VRC world, drag it in here. This is going to give us our main situation. Spawns. We're going to need to create a spawn. So create empty, and this is going to be at the center point here. I do believe, okay, so first we're going to want to lift it up a little bit because we don't want us spawning inside of the platform and then falling through it. Then, when that happens, so let's rename this as spawn. Spawn. Okay, done. Dunzo, Dunyan rings. That's how we did that. Now we're going to go over here. We're going to have this element 0. We're going to drag spawn into here. This is going to be called spawn. Spawn order. I've never really seen a random thing needed to be a, like, you don't need to really change this because it just kind of goes with it. Now, from what I can remember, once you have put this in, the character or the person who the player will be facing the direction of the blue arrow, which is the z-axis, positive. Keep in mind that when you rotate this, like let's say let's go 90 degrees, it will now be facing in the direction of the X arrow. So we're just gonna undo that so that way it's set to be facing this way. Now that's how you make those two things. I've left the camera because I'm gonna move it around anyway. Let's go ahead and give this shit some walls. So, or actually, you know what? Here, let's just duplicate that. Control D does that. We're going to rotate it to be at that incline. Go to there, and then 5 negative on Z. Alright, this is wall 1. Now, you can make it a box, you can make it however, you can also, like, I guess, add windows if you can find the stuff necessary. I'm going to name this 5, negative 5. Or positive 5, negative 5. And duplicate it and move it to the other side and name it positive 5, positive 5. Keep in mind, all of these will be using the default texture, default material. So if you want to change that, go ahead. Another thing, this will happen sometimes where it'll not get around that. So if you want to fix that, just go ahead and, like, I guess, make it bigger. Whoops. Let's go with... Well, actually, no, that doesn't seem to work either. What the hell? Maybe, let's make this 12. Oops. 12. Nope. Oh well. It doesn't really change much. Um, you can select if you want it to be receiving shadows, cast shadows, stuff like that. I honestly don't care. So let's duplicate that and rotate. That's not how I thought that would happen. All right, well, let's just duplicate this one, move it to Z0, and then accept then or other. Let's rotate it. I should put down 0, comma there, and then this one that way as well. Whoops, did not mean to disable it. This is just me being me, so I do this shit. Now this one is +5, +5, 0. And then I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to move it over to -5, +5, 0. Doesn't matter what you name them, just as long as you like remember what stuff is where. And I'm actually going to leave this roofless because, well, just because the ambient lighting is really all you need. You don't really like. You can add skyboxes and shit, which I guess I could show how to do. But first, we're going to create an empty and center it. It's always important that you center the grouping objects. So I'm going to set this up for avatar group example. Now, we're going to, you know what? Let's knock down a wall here. Eeny, meeny, miny, you. And we're going to make our floor a bit bigger. Let's go with Z, so 20. And I guess square it, or, you know, make it flush. There. Because I have OCD. And with this here, I'm going to set up a couple of these fellas, which are avatar pedestals, which already have the avatar stuff in placement. I'm going to go ahead and 0 it again. And that way I can hold control and align it with the grid. I mean, I suppose I could just type it in, but this is its hitbox, or like its collider box. You can disable that or enable it or whatever, it's fine. Oh yeah, box colliders. It will auto add colliders to these things on start, but some of them you can, if you want to like specifically remove, go ahead and do that. Avatar pedestal, let's move it into here. Avatar group example. So I'm moving it over here. Now we're going to name this avatar 1, which is going to be the one that you'd put here. Now, in the SDK control panel, you're going to go over here, and you're going to go into Content Manager once you sign in. There's going to be a thing of your avatars, as well as some of your other stuff, and maybe some test avatars if you have them locally on that computer. You're going to go over to the avatar that you want to select and put in this pedestal, and you're going to go over and just underneath where it says make public or private, it'll say copy ID. You're going to click that. Then you're going to come down here and go over to blueprint ID on avatar pedestal script. You're going to replace it and have it be that. Obviously, this is just an example. And then you can duplicate that if you want to like have multiple set, and have this be avatar 2, and then have this be blah. Sure. So that's how you make those for the avatar situations. You can resize them, make them small, make them big, make them flat. That works too. Um, we are going to be adding a mirror. Now, this is where you gotta kind of pay attention because some of this shit's a bit out there. So we're going into the SDK. Now we're going into the examples, or no, sample assets. I do believe that there was, maybe it was in the uh, where is it? Okay, so VRChat examples, sample assets, prefab. Okay, so VRChat examples, prefabs, VRC mirror. Okay, so we're going to add that here, and we're going to, what? Why is that its placement? Oh, yeah, right. So it's here, um, and it is currently facing this direction. So we're going to, I'm going to knock that wall down so that way I can better see this. But let's move it over to the edge here, and I'm going to lift it up and spin it around, holding control while you do all this. By the way, it helps speed things up as far as like getting exact measurements. Now, right now it's obviously reflecting the ground, and it's a one-way mirror. It's only showing one direction. Now we can make this thicker, so we're going to do that. So now it's the size of that. And as far as Y, let's just bump it up to 5, I guess, and raise it. So it's about half as tall as the wall. Let's set this to 2.5 height on Y. Now we're going to want to make it so that way it's thicker than the wall itself. So we're going to re-enable the wall, and then we're going to just keep bumping this Z value up until it is bigger than the... Oh, right. Actually, never mind. It's a flat surface. It's a plane. It doesn't have a thing. So we need to actually pull it forward some. So let's go with negative 4.99. That works. All right. So now we have, whoops. So now we have our mirror. So let's scoot it forward just a little bit more. So let's go just there. All right. So we have our mirror. Now, what you want to do to you're going to want to toggle, right? So let's go ahead and disable this back wall again. I'm sorry, but I have to keep killing you. We're going to give us a create empty, and I'm going to 0 it again. And whoops. And this is going to be called trigger groups, or group example. Now I'm going to, I'm going to exit out of that, create a cube. Now this isn't just any cube. This cube is our friend. You want to know why he's our friend? He's our friend because he is going to let us see the mirror. Let's lift him up a bit and scoot him over to it. Something that you want to make sure of doing before you do this. Oh, by the way, yeah, the back wall, if you have it enabled, it actually the mirror does not cast a shadow by default. You can have it cast one, but it's not going to work because it's one-sided. So it doesn't cast a mirror, or the mirror does not cast a shadow. So you have a back wall that does that for you. So that way it's a little bit more what's the word? I guess realistic. Anyway, so you're gonna have your trigger buddy just sitting there. Let's go ahead and make a folder with materials. So materials, and we can create them. So go ahead and create material. We're gonna name this trigger, and we're just going to make this fella, I guess, blue. Sure, that works. And we're going to assign it to mirror trigger. There we go. That way we can see it when we spawn in and the mirror is not there. Anyway, so mirror trigger, you're getting grouped in there. VRC mirror. Now comes the other part. You're going to need to, I guess, well, for ease of access, go ahead and collapse that and that. You're going to find, whoops. Oh my god, okay. There's some dust on my keyboard. Okay, so udon behavior. Now, you're going to have this set to continuous. New program. Mirror trigger. Program source. So when this thing gets interacted with, do something. So we're going to open up udon graph, and we're going to add VRC mirror into here. Wait, whoops. Wait, no, I got that backwards. Okay, go ahead and delete that node. We're going back into the scene. Let's, we're going to have program source. Mirror trigger. VRC. Okay, so public variables. Okay, so yeah, self game object. Public variables. I believe it's one. Okay, so VRC mirror. Give me a minute. All right, so I was correct, but not for how I wanted. So you do want the udon trigger, or you do want the udon behavior script on the mirror trigger. You're going to open up graph, and you're going to create a node. You're going to go over to events, and you're going for interaction. After that, you're going to take your VRC mirror. Shit. Right, give me a moment. All right. Sorry for pausing so much. Anyway, so yeah, you do want to drag this in here because this is what we're dealing with. You get out of there. Interactions, VRC mirror, and then you're going to take this and you're going to drag it over here. Or actually, no, you're going to take this and drag it over here. And we're going to find set active, which is game object, set active. We're going to set this up here because what we have here is we're going to have this be inactive at first, which I guess we can go ahead and just disable from here. And you can go over here, and now you're going to add another node branch off of that, and it's going to be get active self. Because this is the node that's checking to see if this is active or not. This time it is currently inactive, so it is going to check, is this active or not? It's not. So we're going to have another thing that's like, okay, so this is active or inactive, what do we do with it? You're going to get unary negation. So essentially, this is a 1-0. So it is bool, but it's saying like, okay, it's a not gate. It's a not gate. This thing is true. Let's make it not true, so it's false, and it's going into here. It's going to be set to false. This thing is false. It's going to go through here. It's going to call it true, and it's going to set it to true. So pretty much the basics of toggle. So this should have this all set up, and if you go in here, as you can see, it's inactive. But when we test the world, we can activate it. Let's go ahead and do that. Or actually, no. Before we do that, let's show you how to make a light. which is, I think, one of the easier things here. So let's create empty and go with light group example. All right, create light. Now, directional light is the kind of thing that's going on with the whole world lighting. Point light, I don't typically use too much. Same thing with most of the others, but spotlight and spotlight is just, it works. It gets the job done. So let's set everything up here to 0, 0, 0, so that way you can have it set. You'll notice that it's at a 90-degree angle, and that's because it by default is facing horizontal positioning. Now we don't want that, obviously, so we're going to set this up to height. Let's go with 8, so that way you can see some of it, some of the lighting going on here already. Now that's yeah, words are escaping me right now. But anyway, so we're going to have this guy scoot over here, and we're going to have it up against the mirror here, so that way when people are looking in the mirror, they can see their avatars a little bit better. So I'm going to actually scoot this down a bit more, and when I do that, I'm going to set up a quick row of them, I guess, because why not? And I'm going to change the range to, actually, let's change it to let's go with 5, maybe 4 actually. Yeah, let's go with 4. And then change the spot angle to 60, so it's a bit wider. Now, you can change the intensity, stuff like this, color even. I'm going to duplicate this a couple times, so that way I can move it left to right. Let's go by a factor of 3. So -3. All right, cool. So we have 3 lights here. Let's actually do that again, but make it a little bit more tightly packed. So 1.5. All right, cool. So we have our lights, and we're going to keep this here like this. And you know why I have it over here next to the mirror is so that way when people are checking their avatars and like looking at it, they can see the front of their avatar a lot better in the mirror because we have this backdrop angle here. Now, obviously, a quick and simple solution to that is you just disable the wall, and light just goes through the mirror. But it looks a little uncanny, so we're going to do it this way. Now you can do the same thing that you did with the trigger groups for mirrors, and you can disable the lighting, and that works too. This is pretty much the main basics that you need to go for here. Another thing you could also do, if you want it to have that kind of like late afternoon look, you can disable this or just delete it, and then have this go on here. You can have these lights go behind here and have them shining in, and just set this wall here to not receive shadows and not cast shadows, and it'll just go through it. So for example, if I do this, it won't receive shadows, but it's also not casting them. Let's change that, receive shadows. So it's mainly just the casting shadow part. That's the thing that you're going for. But anyway, so we're going to try this out. And obviously it's a very bland world starting off. You can go through and like get some different materials through things like the asset store. And you can go through. There's a lot of free materials you can use. So like, you just look up materials, and it'll give you these things. But I would go by, whoops. I would do oh, god damn it. Okay, well fine, I'll fucking do that. You can filter this by, or rather sort by pricing, low to high. and it'll give you a couple free ones. This one here, oh, that's not free. These ones, like a couple of these are free. Like yeah, floor materials, things like that. Um, and that'll help you out with that. We don't worry about that. We're gonna scoot this camera. Doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and delete it because the SDK thing is going to give us one. I'll just go ahead and sign in. Wow. Da, 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 da. Okay, sign in. Signing in. Cool. And then we're going to build it. What? Oh yeah, right. Set up the layers. This is a thing. It's going to add a lot of projects to all of these here. If there is some shit that you need to do, it's not hard. And then it's going to have you do the collision matrix. This is what I was telling you about for the like box colliders and shit for the floors, walls, and things. So you can just do this and have it auto do it for you. And then when that's done, you can go back in and like say I don't want the back wall to have a collider. I can just turn off the box collider like that. It's not hard. And so yeah, then you can build and test first. So I'm gonna. All right. So it just loaded. Uh, so now we have our world. Why is it that only 3 of these lights are showing? Oh, okay. So there's a couple glitches that can happen sometimes, which is fine. This is just a testing world, and it should automatically open up VRChat and just have a like as its own client. Obviously, these are not assigned because they weren't real avatar IDs. I just typed in random bullshit. Uh, you got your universal lighting. This here can show up sometimes too, which again, there's not really much you can do about it. Let's use this, and we have our mirror, and it is working. And I know it's a little harder to see here, but there is a little bit of a change with the lighting as you approach. Like back here. Yep, there we go. You can kind of see it. But yeah, so there is that's how you make a testing world, and then obviously you can when you switch it to Quest, you can change the materials. Like I said, you have your own little materials that you get, and you can just set those to like if they're standard, you can just set them to standard light, and it should do that for you. So yeah, that's what we got today. Um, if you have any other questions, I'm not super proficient on world making. Avatar stuff is usually my mumbo jumbo, but I'll see what I can do. Go ahead and let me know what you think in the comments. Yeah, peace.